car time at last. We'll move on to this in a minute. The important things first. On one of the previous videos I said I've taken the carpet out to dry it, and I was playing that video back just to review it before I uploaded it, and I noticed that on the last video. Now that's not an insignificant piece of rubbish. I know exactly what that is. It is the missing lens. So I am delighted to find that, as you can imagine. Put the lights on. Oh, double, isn't it, for head? And there it is. So I can pop that back in now. Still, the headlights still don't work, of course, nor does the dip switch. So there's still a bit to do there. But boy, am I pleased to have found that. It should just be a case of popping that back in. Like so. It being quite dim, of course, because you know, you'd have this on in the dark at night time, and you don't want a bright light causing glare affecting your night vision, so that's why you can't actually see it much at all now. But it's there, I found it, I'm happy, very pleased. So today, well, there's been a bit of progress with this car. It's been a freezing start to the day. I'm filming in the afternoon now. Fortunately, the sun shines at the front of the house on the driveway where the car's parked. The temperature's quite ambient in here, but certainly out the back in the shade there is still frost. The pond has a layer of ice on it, and it's still freezing cold in the shade. So the engine and the car has had a bit of warmth from the old current bun. Now I'm gonna get the car running again today because I want to put it up on the ramps to examine underneath. And to that end, you will or may remember on one of the older videos that I'd left the HT lead to number 2 plug out, because I said there'll be more on that soon. And the reason I left it off was to remind me that it was only hand tight. I was going around, you know, through the plug leads, etc., just having a general inspection, and I found this number 2 was only hand tight, which was just the start of the issues with it. Let's just put that aside for the moment. But these are all the plugs I've pulled out of this engine, and they are all the wrong type. That's NGK BP6ES, which I'm pretty sure is the equivalent of a Champion N9Y, which is wrong for this engine. This one, God only knows what that's for. NGK BCP R7ES. Heaven alone knows what that is meant for, but I had to break that just to get the socket on it, because it's not even the right size. It's a much smaller plug is that. So been running on 4 totally incorrect plugs. What it should have here, as you can see, is a Champion L10. I have one of which here. I've only got the one L10, but I do have a set of 4 Lodge plugs, Lodge CN, which are the equivalent. Now you can see, because it surprised me at first with this, you know, overhead valve engine, but having said that, the engine was designed in the mid 1940s, first entered production and I think it was 48, so that is generally a spark plug that I associate with side valve engines, with it being quite a short reach. I mean, you can see the difference there, so that's quite considerable. I've put the correct ones in, the Lodge plugs. I had these since I had my Morris Oxford MO, because I bought these as a spare set and never used them, so I saved them, and you've got the brilliant original packaging. It was almost a shame to use them really, but needs must. They'll only go to waste otherwise. They need to be, I need plugs, so I've got to use them. By royal appointment there to Her Majesty the Queen, God bless her. Suppliers of sparking plugs, Lodge Plugs Limited, Rugby. So if the royal cars had these, they must be alright. And they came in the original wax paper there, all original old packaging, with that cardboard nose protecting piece on there. And just some information about them. Goods sold after November 1956. Fitting: tighten plug firmly in cylinder head, do not over tighten, but sufficient to compress the external washer to ensure a gas tight joint, which wasn't happening before on number 2. It can't have been, with it being only hand tight. Test and clean plugs and check gaps at regular intervals. So I'll take that off there, take the cardboard protecting piece off. Just hike that away. And I've had this for ages. It's indispensable really. Champion spark plug gap tool, because that allows for correct adjustment of the central electrode, you know, without causing any damage to the insulator there. Sorry, not the central electrode, of course. That's what you don't want to touch. I mean the side electrode there. That's the part you adjust on a spark plug. The centre must be undisturbed, otherwise you can crack the ceramic insulation. So that is what that handy thing is for. And there you go, use slots to adjust side wire. It's got a file on there to clean points and things, and as you can see here, the gap 30 to 32 thousandths of an inch. and I need to clean these up really, but you can see there 30 thou. Done it on the smallest side, and now I'm gonna fit this to the engine. Where is it now? Just having to beware of any rubbish that might fall in the plug hole. I was worried that, you know, with these incorrect plugs that have been fitted, well, obviously that's very, very careless, and I did wonder if there was any damage to the threads in the cylinder head, but fortunately it appears not, which is a good thing. So I just screw the plug in hand tight to begin with, and then got my plug spanner. Just make sure that's fully engaged. Just get that screwed in, nice and firm. As we know, it does not want to be over tightened at all, but just firm. That's why this has got the short handle. I mean, you can do it like that, but that's for unscrewing only really, to get the leverage on it. But to install a plug, you don't bend that, you just do it up like that. Now the firing order is easy. It's 1, 3, 4, 2. So I've got 1 as a reference, and it's anti-clockwise. Although that will be confirmed in just a jiffy, because I'll be going in there for something else. So 1, 3, 4, and number 2. Right, they're on. They're all nice and tight, because these are the screw-in type. So there's me run back an oil coil. I fitted that because there was another problem with the ignition system, and the coil this car came with was this. Nothing wrong with it, but it's the wrong type for this car. This is a pushing type, as you can see, so that's for a much later car. Pushing type. So what I found is that the king lead on that coil, it had the acorn in, you know, the screw-in acorn, but it was just pushed into that other coil and just literally held in by that rubber boot. It was not secure at all, and it's doubtful it was making proper contact with the high tension output on the ignition coil. So that's all been rectified. I've fitted a proper run back and oil coil, which I highly rate, and since I've reverted to positive earth, it helpfully, on these old coils, it helpfully tells you which connection is which, instead of having a positive and negative symbol. So you can see there, that's the battery side, and that is the contact breaker CB side. It's just to do with the way the spark jumps across the gap. it should be pushed from, it should jump from the centre electrode to the side one. With the other polarity, that's reversed, it goes from the side to the centre, which is less efficient. And I've re-crimped this wire because the ends were finished, as you've seen. The other end needed doing and all, so I've done that to the coil, or was it to the distributor, one or the other. So that's now forming a good electrical connection. So the HT leads are all on there. I'm just going to check the oil actually before starting it up. Just give us an idea. Oh yeah, plenty there, that's fine. Because the third problem, I think it was the third, well, whatever problem it was, is, well, it's not really a problem, but it's one of them things that could cause a problem, potentially. The rotor arm. So if I pull that off, I can, well, you may be able to see it, but the actual brass segment there is just slightly loose, which could cause a failure. It's also, strictly speaking, the wrong rotor arm. Fortunately, I had a couple of spares from the collection, but of course you'll see these both different. That's for an anti-clockwise distributor, and that's for clockwise. Now I'm 99% certain that this this turns anti-clockwise. There's an easy way of checking that. I mean, the book says clockwise from the drive end. But actually, no, it actually says contra-clockwise there. In another section of the book it did say from the drive end it would be clockwise, so that's a mirror image at this end, which means it's separate. So I'll just engage that on there. And with the handy solenoid there, which has a push button on it, which has confirmed it. Centre carbon brushes there, fine. That's in, so yeah, now I'm gonna fire this thing up. If I can get the springs on this. I need one of them thingies that allows me to do this film hands-free, because just doing this with one hand is very, very awkward. Hang on. Bloody hell. God, man. At last. Right. I'll put that in the box. I don't want to damage that plug. Because if I find 3 more of them, then I'll have a full set. So I'll move all that out the way. Right, okay. Let's give it a go. So it's a wonder it ran at all before, you know, with that hodgepodge wrong spark plugs and the other faults mentioned. It's a wonder it ran at all. So I'm much more optimistic now. This engine has not been started since the last video it run. As I say, it's a cold day, but the car has been in the sun. So we'll give it a go, see what happens. Well, I can hear a lot of suction or something there. That hissing sound. Wonder what that is. Anyway, yeah. Oh yeah, that's also what I almost neglected to mention. This is the first start of this car. Well, I did touch on it with the coil connections, but this is the first start of this car since I swapped it back to Posi Earth. So yeah, that nice charging, very good. Very good indeed. Let's go and have a look out there. There's a bit of smoke or something. Might be steam, with it being a cold day. Hunty. Right, something really is hissing there. Push that in some more. As I say, I did get that working now nicely, the choke. You can hear it slowing down. Plugs I took out incidentally, they were a nice colour. Choke's all the way off now. That is coming off the exhaust. In fact, I think I know exactly what that is. I think that is a bit of brake or clutch fluid that's dripped down. Yeah, so I'm going to stand in the fresh air now until that clears. But yeah, there we go. Much more of a success. And next one, I'll be getting up on the ramp to have a look underneath.